Google Stadia and white labeling. It's been a topic within the Stadia community for quite some time now. In fact, it's been brought up ever since they shut down their first-party studios. It's been a huge debate within the Stadia community whether or not Google would eventually lead down this path, but this weekend it's officially happened and they've partnered with AT&T to do it. But before we get into more details about that partnership, let me just quickly explain what a white label is. By business definition, a white label refers to a fully supported product or service that's made by one company but sold by another. This allows the reseller to customize the product with their own brand, logo, and identity, allowing customers to associate the product with the reseller rather than the producer. Now, is this a good or a bad thing for Google? And how does it affect you, the end user? That's the point of discussion today, and we're gonna get right to it. The deal itself allows AT&T users to exclusively experience Batman Arkham Knight for free with cloud gaming. The method of play is suggested to be Google Chrome or any other Chromium-based web browser version 77 or higher on a desktop or laptop. Obviously, this is a fantastic deal for Google as they're finding a new way to profit off their Stadia technology in a whole new way. But whether or not it's good for Stadia and its user base is an entirely different discussion. Let me just be completely clear about this. At this point in time, nobody here can tell you whether or not this is going to have an overall positive or negative effect for Stadia and its users. What can be discussed is the pros and cons to the white labeling itself. There are positive side effects from it just like there are negative. Ultimately, however this ends up playing out is anyone's guess, and today we're going to be talking both sides to that story. Let's start off with the positives of white labeling. First off, Google is making more money off Stadia. This is never a bad thing because it gives Google incentive to continue investing in the platform. And this leads right into reason number 2. Google's not giving up on Stadia's technology. They obviously see its worth and are trying to make the most of it. It's yet another reason to argue why Google isn't going to be shutting Stadia down anytime soon or letting its technology go to waste. Chances are if AT&T was interested in trying out this sort of partnership, there are going to be other companies also willing to do the same. Also worth pointing out is the fact that we're talking about AT&T here, not necessarily a company you really think about when you think of gaming. That alone should speak volumes of just how wide a net that technology can cast in terms of getting partnerships. Reason number 3, more games are going to be ported to run on Stadia. Google's technology runs on Linux. This has been another point of contention within the community whether or not this was the right or wrong choice to make. Regardless, in this instance, it meant that Batman Arkham Knight, a title not previously available on Stadia, is now running on Stadia. Now, there is more to this, and we'll get to it in the cons section of the video, but for now, let's move on to reason number 4. And that's the fact that certain partners may lead to certain games getting ported over to Stadia's tech. And the deal that just recently happened is the perfect example of that. In case you didn't know, AT&T actually owns Warner Bros., which means they own their gaming division, who happens to make Batman Arkham Knight. This could mean that there's potential to see other games run on Stadia's tech like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, Gotham Knights, or even Back 4 Blood. Now imagine they ended up doing another white label service for a game publisher. It makes it easier to imagine that there will be even more games running on Stadia's tech in the near future. But now it's time we talk about some cons, of which there are plenty as well. We have no clue whether or not Google sees this as the main way to make revenue off of Stadia's technology now. I think it's fair to say that at this point in time, it's clear that whatever roadmap Google initially had with Stadia, it's changed drastically. Let's not forget, a lot of the people who were initially there when it launched are no longer working there. The first-party studios got shut down, and they seem to have more of a vested interest in bringing over third-party titles. The second con is about Batman Arkham Knight. While it is great to see it running on Stadia's tech, there's still no guarantee that we're actually going to see it be brought over to Stadia the platform. All of this is going to heavily depend on whatever deal they ended up signing with Google. And while the optimist in me really wants to say that this has a higher chance of arriving on Stadia, it's just as likely that it may not arrive at all. For a company like AT&T or any other partners that end up signing up for this, there is an incentive to actually keep the title exclusive to your service. Reason number 3 is fairly similar. Games may actually end up coming to Stadia, but they'll be delayed. And we're already seeing an example of this in real time. Batman Arkham Knight is exclusive to AT&T customers at this point in time, and it's there for a limited amount of time. What happens after that time expires, we still don't know. I'm hoping it gets brought over to Stadia as it wouldn't make the game go to waste, but there's simply no guarantee that's going to be the scenario. Not to mention, we also don't know how long it's exclusive on AT&T for. I don't think I'm alone in saying timed exclusives suck, and it's really annoying to have to deal with games already arriving late to Stadia. Giving any sort of title or publisher more of a reason to delay their game on Stadia because they signed a deal elsewhere is not a good thing in my books. Even more so if it ends up being Google who signs that deal. My last con is more of a suggestion, and that's that Google is in a position where they really need to reassure their fans of the future of the platform. Look, I can sit here and give you reasons why I don't think Stadia is going to shut down, but ultimately it's Google's job to really convince you that this is the case. It's been quite some time since our last Stadia Connect or any sort of official announcement from Stadia at some event. And a lot of the big name games that we were waiting to launch on Stadia have already launched or are about to. Past Chorus and pretty much any other Ubisoft title in the future, we really don't know what lies ahead. A solid Stadia Connect right now, even if it's just to announce big name games that have already launched this holiday season, would go a long way. To wrap this video up, I do want to point out that I've always been in favor of Google Stadia going the white label route. Speaking for myself here, I always thought the technology that's powering Stadia is way too good to go to waste, and if it's not performing to the level that Google wanted it to perform to, I'd prefer this method of keeping Stadia's technology alive than just letting it disappear. Not that I actually thought they were going to do that, by the way, but it is worth pointing out that even if one day Stadia were to shut down, they probably would continue to sell it to other partners. What I really think is happening here is that Google has come to realize they're not going to be making as much off Stadia as they initially thought. But they're also not wanting to leave such a booming market. After all, the video game industry is huge, and there's little to no doubt that cloud gaming is going to play a major role in the video game industry going forward. So what I think Google's decided to do is find another way to find a revenue source for Stadia so they can continue to support it by bringing games and hopefully bringing more users to those games. After all, imagine a user goes to AT&T to play Batman Arkham Knight, somebody who normally has no interest in cloud gaming but decided, heck, why not, it's free. Let's say they have a great experience doing so. Well, if they want to play more games on that same technology, they can then go to Stadia to try out other titles that they may be interested in. At the end of the day, I have no doubt that this is just going to lead to even more gamers trying out cloud gaming, and that's not a bad thing. Anyways, let me know your thoughts on the whole white labeling situation down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Like I said, I know it's definitely a hot topic right now, and it's a point of contention for many people, but I do want your genuine opinion. Also, I do want to ask you how you feel about Stadia right now. Are you reassured that they're going to continue support for the long term? Or are you a little bit worried and could use some more reassurance? I look forward to reading all your replies down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful at all, be sure to hit that like button as it really does help the channel out, and if you're wanting more content like this, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell as well. As always, thank you for watching the video. This has been The Virtual Cloud, giving you the latest and greatest on everything cloud gaming and VR related, and until next time, I'll catch you in the clouds.